What's up guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing off a survival build for the first time this year. This build showcases one of the weirdest items in all of Dead Cells, the Oven Axe. And I'm going to be using the Oven Axe today to defeat all of the bosses, and I'm going to be doing that with the help of Ice Shards. Obviously, this build is going to be dual bound. I'm going to be dual binding Ice Shards and the Oven Axe together. And this combo worked very well, and it's going to slow down the monsters so that I can kill them in time with my Oven Axe. The survival Ice Shards combo is obviously very popular, and I've seen it many times before. So I just thought that it would work very well if I combine it with the Oven Axe, because it slows down the monster to the point where they can't attack, but I obviously can. And as we can see here, things are already going very well. Everything is dying in my path, and nothing so far has hit me. However, that is going to change over the course of the run. Things do tend to hit you with a slower build, like the one I'm running right now. If there's enough mobs, eventually we will get hit. With most builds, I usually recommend using the aspect of the damned to increase cursed chest chances, and it's the same with this build. I like to use that specific aspect because it always makes your damage output a lot greater and gives you a lot more health, and overall just increases your survivability chances by a lot. I think survivability in the game is really important, and it's not really focused on a lot because obviously you need damage, but you're gonna get hit one way or another. Unless you're just running Curse Sword, then you kinda can't. But I think that you should always focus your stats into one specific color. However, if you happen to find other dual stats, always go for the highest scroll that gives you the most health. A mistake that a lot of newer players begin to make is that they always go for the scroll that gives them the highest health. However, that's not the brightest move, because even though you have more health, you'll still be getting hit and you'll still be killed eventually because you cannot kill the monsters. And if you can't kill the monsters, then they're going to keep coming back every single time. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get away with it for at least 0 BC, but as soon as you get to 1 BC and higher, I recommend that you absolutely put every single stat into one point that you're going to focus on for the entire run. It doesn't matter whether it's brutality, tactics, or survival. They're all good in their own ways, and they all give you their own benefits. Tactics focuses on DPS emos, and obviously it can be perceived as one of, if not the best color in the game. However, survival and brutality give you a lot more health. Brutality focuses on raw damage and just overall works really well and has a lot of great synergies. And survivability obviously gives you a lot more health and it makes you a bigger tank and allows you to survive through those tougher situations. And since I'm running survivability right now, I can just afford to be a lot more complacent in how I play. I can afford to take more damage, and I can afford to lose more health. However, that's not the case if you run tactics, or even brutality sometimes. But with that out of the way, we're already into the second bio. So I chose going to the Toxic Sewer because it has the most scroll stats, and I recommend going to this place over the Promenade of the Condemned or the Arboretum. However, you can choose to go to those biomes if you want. The scroll count doesn't really matter if you're having fun playing the game anyways. All you need is enough scrolls to actually kill your enemies and eventually the boss. So I've noticed that most of these enemies can't really hit me because I'm using Ice Shards and I'm using Ice Grenade as well. However, I am falling into Poison Pits and they are hitting me with certain status effects, so that is important and it is draining my health. So, if you guys try out this build yourself, I might recommend that you guys go to Promenade instead, because obviously scroll count isn't everything, but it is still really important. One thing I'd recommend to the majority of players is that at 0BC, try to go to every single location that you possibly can and get every single room that you can as well. Because as you progress with the game, it'll make things so much easier because you can get to secret areas, you can get to certain items, and you can also find more blueprints for more items, more mutations, and anything that you need to get better at the game and possibly get that next boss cell. So, I never really used to come to Corrupted Prison before because obviously I couldn't. You need the spider room, which is in the Slumbering Sanctuary to get it. And to get to the Slumbering Sanctuary, you need a bunch of other stuff as well. You need to get to the Ancient Sewers, you need to beat Conjunctivius, which is a boss, and then you actually need to make it to Slumbering Sanctuary alive and in one piece. After that, you just have to get the spider rune and then you're good. However, that's a pretty arduous task in and of itself. But at 0BC, it becomes significantly easier, and it gives you more experience, and it'll make everything so much easier for you in the long run. Going to every single location just makes it so that you know where to go and where not to go in the future, because the next few boss cells, especially the later ones, aren't really all that forgiving. So for example, if, let's say, you chose to go to Distillery in 0BC, the consequence of that action would be a lot less than if you chose to go to Distillery in, let's say, 3BC, 4BC, or even 5BC. Because we all know and we all absolutely hate that biome because it is absolutely overwhelming and chaotic and nobody fucking loves that, but obviously you need that experience beforehand to know whether or not you will be able to survive with your build in that biome. And I'd say that in and of itself is enough to say that you should be going to every single biome that you possibly can. And that it's not bad to like experiment and try new things, because I wouldn't have gone to the Corrupted Prison and I wouldn't have found out that it had an extra cursed chest. So finding out where curses are and where scrolls are and where gold and cells are is really important in the early game and in the late game. And it can mean the difference between life and death, because back in 2BC, I used to focus my entire route around going to different food shops and basically having enough food for healing and being able to survive throughout the run, because I took a lot of hits. I wasn't very careful back then. Obviously, I'm a little bit better now, and I take the risks, and I don't really choose to go to food shops all that much anymore. But when you're a beginning player, it is really important to know where those things are so that you can potentially just save yourself from dying in early death if you really need to. So the thing about dead cells is that when you guys play, I'd say that it's wise to not let yourself get too down on your own luck when you die, because the thing about dead cells is that as you play, you get more experience, and when you experience new things, you get better at the game, and you learn from your own mistakes, and you learn from your deaths. Motion Twin, the developer of Dead Cells, themselves have stated that it's about learning, dying, and repeating all of that same cycle to get better, and to eventually make it farther and farther along into the island to eventually the throne room, where you'll beat the Hand of the King. But you won't do that on your first run. The majority of the player base won't have done that on their first run. They'll do it on their however many it takes them, 10, 20, 50 tries. It'll take you as long as you yourself need. Now, while I say that, I do realize that I'm drifted off the topic of the run, which isn't the best. I'll try to pick on that, but we've already made it to the first boss, the Concierge, and now in the previous biome, I was trying to take it a little bit more cautious approach to the entire fight, because I had a ×2 damage on ice shards. The thing about those ×2 damage weapons is that you deal twice the damage, but you also take twice the damage. And I did end up getting hit by an Inquisitor earlier, which kind of made me learn my lesson in that I was going a little bit too fast and I might have needed to slow it down a bit. But I did get rid of that in this fight, so Now I can play to my heart's content. Now, I did get a little bit restless during that fight. I ended up taking a few hits that I could have easily avoided, and obviously that's my bad. The thing about me is that whenever I play, if the boss fight goes on for a little too long, I just start losing my own patience and making really dumb mistakes. But obviously that's why you guys are here. You guys can learn from my mistakes. So you guys saw right there, I got stuck in his aura, which does damage to you, and I lost like quite a bit of health. So I could have avoided that entire ordeal if I just rolled out of the way earlier, which I definitely was thinking about doing, but I decided to just commit to the damage. But that obviously wasn't worth it, because even though I already lost the no pin, I could have at least conserved a lot more health and not have had to buy any food later on in the run. So now we've already made it to this Slumbering Sanctuary. This is a really decent biome, and any of you guys are just running a melee build of any color. If you guys just come here, you can easily take out pretty much any enemy and clear out all the curses. The only problem about this map is golems. However, if you dodge those in time, then you can pretty easily just deal with them as well. However, I don't really recommend fighting a golem first because they're a very tactical enemy and they have a lot of attacks that they can just perform and easily kill you with. But that isn't to say that you shouldn't fight them at all. I say that you should fight every single enemy on the map, just because you get that little bit of extra gold. That little bit of extra gold or cells can mean the difference between life and death. And so that's not really what I'm going to talk about right now. The reason I came to this map instead of, let's say, the Stealth Village or the Fatal Falls area is because of the curses. Now, I found that this place generally just has a lot of more curses in general. Last time I came here, I found like 4 cursed chests, which I actually didn't believe was even possible. I actually don't know if that was just a glitch or a bug of some sort, but I did end up finding 4 more cursed chests in a different run in the ossuary, so I guess it's just a specific thing with certain biomes like ossuary or the Slumbering Sanctuary. I've never actually seen it before in the base game without the aspect of the dam, and I just think it's really cool that that can happen sometimes. So now I'm at a biome that isn't really a popular choice for many, especially if you're starting out in the game or if you have already been in this biome. And I wouldn't recommend going to it either unless you're absolutely sure that you can survive, or if you just really need to make up for any missing stats. And this biome is obviously the Caverns. The Caverns has a lot of enemies that can't be stunned, can't be attacked from behind, and just generally are very difficult to deal with. Now, I don't recommend coming here, well obviously unless you're very sure of yourself, or if you're running a melee build, because melee builds don't really deal well with the enemies because you need range to effectively fight them without getting hit and losing a lot of time, because these enemies in this fight can hit really hard. However, with that greater risk, there is a major reward. The weapons and the gear overall in this biome have a larger level rate than in any other biome in the entire game except for the Spoiler biome, which is the astronaut. In this biome, everything is level 12 if you're at 5 BC, and you can't get level 12 gear anywhere else except for after the end of the kingdom. So basically, I'd recommend going here if you need more scrolls, because this place has 5 scroll fragments and a lot of individual scrolls, and that you will be able to make up for any scroll loss that you've been suffering from previously. And so another nice touch is that, at least in 5 BC, the amulets in Caverns, they all have 4 scroll stats, which is a very, very nice touch and very helpful towards the player if you do find them. So that means that you can get 4 brutality, 4 tactics, or 4 survival on 1 amulet. That means if you're running that specific color, you can do so much more damage to every single enemy and boss in the game, and you can essentially melt through everything ahead of your pace and just melt everything in general. And another nice thing about the Caverns is that there's more scroll stats and more scroll fragments, so that if you're suffering from lower scrolls earlier in the run at some point, or if you missed a scroll stat, or if you missed a scroll at some point at all, you can just make it up by coming to this biome. You'll get a lot more health, you'll get a lot more damage, and a lot more DPS in general, but obviously there is still that risk that you will die to a ground shaker or a demon or an arbiter. But if you learn how to deal with those enemies, then the risks are pretty much zero and the rewards are insanely high, so I would recommend coming to here because some of the best weapon blueprints do drop from the enemies that are in here, so just be sure to come by. So now, while I was running on there, I actually managed to beat the Scarecrow in the background. I chose to come to the Scarecrow this time because I don't really come there often and I really like the boss fight. However, I do usually die from it since the Scarecrow is so fast and it's very chaotic and overwhelming if you're not careful. But basically, the secret to that is try to find a way to slow him down or to root him, like I was doing with my ice shards, and his attacks will be slow enough for you to dodge and deal damage to him. So since I was dealing heavy damage, like with my oven axe, all of his health was just simultaneously melting down with the help of my turrets and the ice shards and the oven axe just all coming in together to deliver every single bit of damage that it could possibly muster up. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk now, so I'm just gonna let the final boss fight play in the background and just let you guys sit back and enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed my content today, please make sure to like and subscribe because it really warms my heart and keeps me motivated to keep making more videos just like this when you guys enjoy them. But that's all I've got for you today, so if you guys enjoyed, just make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.